We have our guest tonight. We're going to get into acting. Before we do that, I just want to tell you that our hearts are going for all the people in Boston. I've been glued on the TV all day long following what's happening. It's quite a shame that we don't know what we have. Like, how can you know who's going to kill who, where you're going to find a bomb? It doesn't seem to matter anymore. Anything can happen any given time. And it's pretty shocking when we see the news and we see two kids, one a 26-year-old former fighter and another kid, 19 years old, doing this kind of atrocity. The FBI, Obama, everybody, it's like you see all the action going on, and they're trying to get him. He's on the rush, he's on the go. What do they say in Spanish? There's a word for that I cannot remember now. But they're trying to really get him. No. Very shocking to see that. Very sad to see what's going on in the news. I'm just hoping that things are going to get better. I'm hoping that our countries and the world is going to get better. It's too much violence, too much blood, too much pain. It shouldn't be so hard to live. It shouldn't be so damn hard, but it is. Anyway, we are going deep. Gregg, like I said in the beginning, I was very taken by your work. And when I'm using the word taken, it's taken with capital letters. Exquisite performance, crafted, incredible actor. I want to get to know you.
All right.
Do you allow me?
Sure.
Okay. Can we go back in time?
How far?
Oh, as far as we can. I don't care. I want to go far, far, far. Maybe when you were born, maybe not that far, but
No,
yeah.
that's a little,
I want to go back in time, and I would love to know.
I'll tell you, when I was in 5th grade, we did a play at Audubon High School.
Uh-huh.
And I played the king. And the 1st grade teacher came back after it. I remember her class was trailing behind her. And she came back afterward and she said, "You acted just like a second Charles Lawton." I think I got hooked.
You got hooked
Because I'd seen some Lawton movies, like The Hunchback of Notre
right,
Dame.
of
even
course.
at that young age.
Yes, of course.
And I'm like, Charles Lawton?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. That was a big compliment.
Huge compliment.
Huge. So right there you got hooked.
I suppose.
And how did you start it? Do you start reading, taking classes, watching? What?
No. I remember in 4th grade, I had hand puppets in my desk. Little tiger.
Okay.
I'd always pull it out, and whenever I finished my work in class, I'd pull it out and I'd start bothering the guy next to me. You know, my little voice and stuff like that. And Miss Braun was the teacher. She was this tall Teutonic woman, red hair, and she was in the front of the class, and she saw me doing this, and she bellowed out, "Gregg Almquist, would you grow up?"
Uh-huh.
And it was 4th grade, and I thought even then, what a terrible thing to say to a kid.
Right.
Why? What
Right.
for?
Exactly.
So I can be like you?
Right.
No, I don't want to grow up.
I rather.
So I never have grown up, really.
Good for you, me either.
Well,
and it's a
it
great feeling.
causes problems sometimes.
Yeah, I know, all the
know.
time, Greg, to be
Well,
quite honest with
yeah,
you,
okay,
right?
okay.
We get into trouble. But that's cool. That's what life is about.
Well, I suppose, yeah.
It's the only way to live, is the only way to grow, to live, is to make mistakes.
Well, growing is important, but growing up, maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe not. So the acting, the stage work, the theater, the movies, do you remember any specific memories? In the beginning, like when you start saying, "Oh God, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to do a play. I'm going to do a play. I'm going to do a play." The first play
No.
that you ever done?
I didn't. Once I got into my teens and late teens, I always acted.
Uh-huh.
But like when I was in college, I wasn't intending to go into acting. I was writing plays.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about that. You're
And
writing.
I never. I didn't intend to act, but then when I got out, I started. I mean, I've had dry periods. I've been out of work for a year, but I started working a lot as an actor. So I just kind of just went with it.
Right.
But it wasn't. It wasn't that what I have to be an actor.
No.
No, it wasn't a passionate thing. It just
It came out to
evolved.
you. Right. Interesting. Interesting, because when I saw you there on the screen, I said, man, this guy is good.
Well,
So I mean, it's like, yeah, all the training, no training, all the work and all the experiences, but you say, wait a second. You kind of wonder, where's this talent coming from? Because you have to be able to
yeah.
you have to be able to work it. I don't care how talented
Right.
you are, Greg, right? So how do you work it? I mean, how do you approach the work?
Learn the lines for starters.
Good.
Sounds dull, but
Learn the lines helps.
yeah, they help.
They help.
But as you must know, and I'm sure you've heard these stories over and over and over again, that being an actor is most often you're looking for work. That's what being an actor is,
Right.
looking for work.
Right.
Unless you become one
Right.
of the exalted
Right.
0.01% of the profession
Right.
who are constantly sought out.
Right.
But otherwise, if you're tier B, you just acting is looking for work
Is looking for work.
and trying to keep the enthusiasm, the passion
The
alive.
fire.
And because a number of my friends over the years just dropped out. Some of them because they wanted to be stars,
Right.
and they realized they weren't going to be stars, so they just said, "The heck with it."
Right.
Others just got burned out.
Right.
And I understand.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's understandable because it's difficult. I guess it's an impossible business to get into, is it?
Well, it's easy to get into, but to make a living at it, that's something else.
Yeah.
Remember, I've written a couple of novels, and some have been published. And when I was trying to sell the first one, I sent a cover letter to an editor at St. Martin's Press, and she read it and rejected it. It eventually got published, but she rejected it. And the last paragraph of the letter, she said, "Mr. Almquist, I'm just curious. You write novels and you're an actor. What led you to choose perhaps the two most difficult professions to make a living in?"
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just what I wanted to do.
It is what you do.
Yeah.
Writing is exciting. I want to get into your
You
writing.
can get that later if you
Yeah, I
want.
want to get into because you know what? Writing is not for everybody. And guess what? A lot of great writers got rejected in the beginning. Charles Dickens, he couldn't publish his work. You know,
Oh, sure, it comes to the territory.
it comes like painters. Look at Van Gogh. He burned his own work to keep himself warm. He was not able to make a living. His brother would send him money. And he would just paint and paint and paint and paint. At the end of his life, Theo, his brother, was able to sell one of his paintings.
One, yes, one. Mm-hmm.
One. And he never saw a cent. He never saw a cent out of his work.
He was doing what he loved, though.
He's one of my favorite painters.
And he's pretty accessible.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Now, how intimidating, because you're intimidating enough, is to go to a set in a film. What's the difference between, for you, arriving to a rehearsal to do a play and arriving to a set to do a movie? How does it work for you? How do you feel, even with all your
Yeah.
experience?
They're different things because with a play, you have the opportunity because of the time scheme, usually a 4-week or even more rehearsal, that you get to know everyone and become the family. Whereas when you go onto the film set, boom, you just, okay, hair, makeup,
Right.
then you wait for 5 hours, and then do it. And you probably, maybe just an hour earlier, have met the people that you're going to be doing the scene with.
Right.
So you just have to do it.
You have to do it. Do you believe in rehearsal?
Rehearsal is preferable, but very often in films and television, that sort of thing, you don't get much chance at rehearsal.
Right.
For sitcoms, of course, you do. Usually you get Monday through Thursday, then you shoot it Friday. But for MOWs or films or anything, very seldom do you get rehearsrsal.
Right.
You know,
Now,
they're just there.
as an actor, Greg, how? I just kicked you. Sorry. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're hurt. I like your Snickers. Man, do you run? No, you don't run, right?
Yeah, I do. I go to the
Do
gym.
you run?
Well, I don't run, no. I once saw my shadow I used to run in Central Park, you know, and with someone, and I saw my shadow, and I realized I looked like one of those people. I just looked awkward, and I realized, no, I'm not a runner. I'm not a natural runner.
Right.
So, well, I swim mostly.
You swim.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now.
I look like an asshole running, I guess, is what I'm saying.
But all of us would look like assholes running.
Well,
We're
no,
not
some
runners.
people just have that.
Oh, the
they've
look.
got that
Forget about the look.
stride that
Yeah,
just,
the
you go,
style.
they're a
the
natural
swagger.
runner.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Now, when you work like the experience of Customer Soul, because we're going to be showing a clip in about a minute. Can we talk about the film? How you
Sure.
got casted, the director, working with all these actors: Chris Kirsten, Judy Jerome, Mark from the Actor
Morkowski,
Studio.
yes.
Yeah, I think he was great.
Yeah, and Will.
And so is Chris and Judy Jerome. She did a terrific job.
Will Blogrove.
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was wonderful. I thought he was good when I saw the film.
You liked it?
Well, I realized it was, boy, at the end of it, you don't want to get up and start singing, that's for sure.
Right.
No,
Right.
it's-
How was the process? How
everyone
was the
takes it
time
back.
when you were making the film? The scenes are pretty
Well,
intense.
it was an indie film, remember? So
Yes.
there really wasn't a honey wagon. You had no dressing room to go back to. You just
Right.
either you
Right.
sat outside or sat in your car and.
Right.
Oh,
But in terms of the work,
the
Greg,
work?
like
I think a lot of the actors were from New York, but I'm from Philadelphia where it was shot.
right.
And they didn't really have a casting director. They used an agent who happened to be my agent. And so I think I auditioned for Sean Kirkpatrick, the director, twice. And then he asked me to come back another time just to work with the guys who he was thinking of casting for the part that Chris Curzon eventually played. So I had time to do that. But one thing that bothered me, and I probably shouldn't admit this because I've never done it before, but at one time in my life I had red hair, okay, and consequently often sent up for to audition for Irishmen.
Right.
On the stage, okay, but for film I never got them, and I know why. I don't look Irish.
No, you do not.
No, I don't. It's. I might have red hair, but I'm not. I don't look Irish.
Right.
So I thought, well, what can I do here? No, I can't start putting makeup on. But I did want to play the part because he's a bad guy. He's a real
Right,
bad
it's
guy,
a
and
good
they're
part.
so much fun to play.
Right.
And
I
so
can
what
tell that you
did-
have fun playing those bad guys, Greg.
What I did, this is terrible. It's like a no-no for actors. I went to the mirror. And I stood in front of the mirror, playing with my face, trying to do something that made me look more Irish. And I found that if I jutted out my jaw, it might not make a difference to you, but it made a difference to me.
Right.
So that I believed I looked
you
more
were
Irish,
Irish.
even if I didn't. So
Right.
what? I
Right.
believed it, and that's what's most important.
Right.
And so I did. So okay, I got that underbite kind of thing like that that I used.
Are you method?
No, I don't. I really don't. My technique, the closest I can come to what I always say, just play the scene.
Just do it.
And what I mean, just relax, breathe, know the lines, listen, and react, and play the scene. Mean what you say.
Right.
And focus. People are always talking about film acting has to be miniaturized. No, it doesn't. You can be as big as you want, as long as you are focused and your intention is crystal clear. Then you can be as big as you want, even if Laurence Olivier in Othello was a bit over the top.
He was over the top.
Okay, right.
I mean, come on, let's
Yeah,
face
no,
it.
I know what
I
you
mean,
mean.
I love the
I
British.
agree,
We
I
love him.
agree.
But I seen it 2 weeks ago, and I just couldn't believe how over the top he was.
No,
man.
he was.
I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't understand
every once in a
it.
while, it's fun to see that, though, to see someone who has the confidence to just blow it out.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of liberating. But before we go, it's 7:46, and you see time is running out. It's a good interview. We had Greg here, Gloria Messer, Malik. We got everybody here. I want to show